Hi everyone, this is Dr. Granville D'Souza, and you are tuned into Direct Your Destiny. Well, today's session is on mental toxicity and managing the inner game. So, how many of you have heard of the company I Will Not Complain? Well, I heard of this company many years ago, and I used to think, well, this is a really unique name for a company. Well, today, although I'm giving them a little bit of publicity, we're not going to talk about I Will Not Complain. We're going to talk about why I do complain. So a few days ago, I was having a coaching call with one of my clients, and this lady was bitching, complaining, criticizing, and she's going on and on. So I decided maybe I should, pace with her a little bit, share with her how I also do the same sometimes, how I have had certain stories which were similar to her. And at the end of the call, I felt okay. I made her feel quite good. Just did not make her feel lonely by the fact that she was the only one experiencing the same thing. And then I decided, okay, wow, that was a pretty heavy call, and I should really monitor myself as to how much of this I really do. And lo and behold, I was checking out throughout the day, and I was criticizing, I was bitching, I was shooting down ideas, I was reading the internet and wondering what a stupid idea. And I thought, oh my God, looks like I'm someone whose life is really not so complete. I thought I was Mr. Complete. Okay, not really. But I thought things were pretty okay getting into this kind of work. But wow, I was really caught in the same rut as well. So I decided I wanted to monitor myself and watch myself throughout the day and probably the next few days as into how much I really bitch, nag, complain, shoot down ideas. I'd like to share with you some grim statistics, and that is according to the National Science Foundation. We have about, say, 12,000 to about 60,000 thoughts a day. Now that's quite a lot. Well, what's shocking is that 80% of them are negative and 95% of them are repetitive. So can you imagine if you are really talking crap to yourself, if you're really having a lot of negative thoughts, and most of them are actually repetitive. So it's actually almost like looping thoughts going on in your head throughout. Now, wow, that's a whole load of stuff that's actually affecting you all day. So I started to think about this, and how many times have I asked myself questions like what if questions? What if this does not go right? What if my boss thinks this way? What if my wife thinks this way? What if I don't do this? What if I can't get this done? Let me just give you an example. I took a long time to get this whole YouTube channel started, and I was thinking to myself, I've been training this stuff for more than 20 years. What if it turns out to be a load of bullshit? What if people look at it and think like, what a load of crap? It looks like I don't want to go for this guy's program anymore. I'm a victim of these things as well. So I keep asking myself these kinds of questions. And they go looping and they go repeating, and it's not easy to get rid of these questions. Have you heard of the Japanese researcher Dr. Masaru Emoto? Well, he believed that human consciousness had a deep impact on the molecular structure of water. So what did he do? He would put water into one beaker, and then he would label them with negative emotions, like for example, I hate you, you're ugly, frustration, anger. And then he would put water into another beaker and he would label it quite differently. For example, he would say things like, I love you, you're beautiful, happiness and joy. And so what did he do? He decided to freeze both beakers, and the next day he would look at the crystals and put them under a microscope, and he found that the molecular structure of the crystals were really distorted, ugly, deformed from the beaker where he had put some curses. And with the other beaker where he had put a lot of love and attention, and he found that the molecular structure of those crystals were beautiful, they were healthy, they were in full shape, and he saw that there were many very interesting patterns. His conclusion was, our words have got a deep impact on even water, which is alive. So can you imagine the impact we have when we talk to ourselves either in a wonderful way, in a very positive way, or when we curse ourselves? And I guess that's why I love Nike's slogan. So Nike's slogan says, just do it. Have you heard of this psychologist called Albert Ellis? Well, Albert Ellis, basically what he said was, the words we use have a direct impact on our body. So think about it. When you use something like, I'll try. When you say, I'll try, how much does your body actually commit? So remember, try is like, I will give it a try. He claims that it's about, say, 50% of effect, which your body does commit. Because when you say I try, you're almost like opening a back door to say, well, I tried, but I did not give my best. So instead of using words like I'll try, why not say I'll give it my best? What about words like I failed versus I'm still learning or I'm getting there? So, these words, the minute you say things like I failed, you've almost like given a kind of internal defeat. I have failed, full stop. Unless you say, I failed at this, comma, and I'm going to do this from here on. So there's a big difference sometimes when we use certain words and then we give a kind of defeatist feeling, like I failed. Have you heard of this common analogy in a lot of workshops? And it goes like this: don't think of a gray elephant with pink underwear. Now think about it. Did you actually think of a gray elephant with pink underwear, even though you said don't? That's how the mind works. It's literal. The minute you say a certain word, it absorbs it fully and it starts to take it literally. So can you imagine if you say something like, I'm such an idiot? And even though you probably don't mean it, the mind sends signals to the body to say, okay, you're an idiot. And because your body and your mind knows what an idiot means, it starts to believe every single word you say. So my advice to you is be careful what you say to yourself. Now the challenge is when we say be careful what you say to yourself, how do you keep that in check? Right? Because you're basically speaking at an unconscious level sometimes. You say the things you say, you think about it, but generally we don't tend to think too much about the things we say. We just say it based on certain kinds of impulses. Can you imagine the thoughts that are actually causing these emotions? So one good indication about the quality of your thinking is to look into the quality of your feelings. So if your feelings are basically negative, in this case you're looking at, say, irritation and frustration, track and see what kinds of thoughts are you telling yourself that's actually causing this, because these feelings are not there for no reason. They did not just come there by chance. They would have been created by certain kinds of thoughts you're saying. So ask yourself, what are these thoughts? So I'm going to share with you how you can track what these thoughts are, because it's not easy to do it if you don't have certain kinds of strategies. So I'm going to share with you 5 different strategies which you can track where these thoughts are, where they're coming from, and how you can actually stop it. So here are 5 tips to check on your inner critic. First one is set a few random alarms. So what I mean by this, so this can be a little bit irritating because it causes you to suddenly stop what you're doing. So in short, get someone else to set 3 random alarms in your phone, and don't set it yourself, because if you set it yourself, then you can more or less predict when exactly this alarm is going to come about. So ask someone else, could be a friend, could be a wife, could be your child, get them to set 3 random alarms. Make sure it's not during your sleeping time. Don't do this from 12 a.m. to about 6 a.m. in case you sleep at 12 a.m. because it's going to disrupt your sleep. So what happens anyway, could be waking hours, and that means maybe your work hours could be the best, right? So set 3 random alarms, and when they do ring, what happens is you stop whatever you're doing and you ask yourself, okay, right at that moment, what was I thinking? And based on the quality of your thinking, was it negative? Was it frustrated? Was it irritation? Was it sadness? Was it whatever? And of course, that's the first alarm. Do a bit of journaling on this so that you can keep track with what exactly you were thinking. And when the next alarm rings again, do the same thing, right? Just do the same thing and then journal. Was it negative? Was it positive? And then of course you do the same thing with a third call. Then ask yourself, is it negative? Is it positive as well? Now, just looking at one day, or just look at a few days and then look at the quality of your thinking. Were you cursing? Were you criticizing? Were you shooting an idea? Was your inner thought getting into damaging thoughts? And then you'll be able to see a trend. So that trend is a positive trend where generally you was happy, you were basically praising something, you were telling yourself good stuff about yourself. Then I think you're on the right track. And that would probably prove why you're feeling the way you're feeling. So that's the first tip. The second tip is to put visible signs around your home or even in your office. Of course, if you've got a big office, it's easy. If you don't have a big office, you can put it in 3 corners, on your left, on your right, and maybe on your screen. Now, what are these 3 signs going to say? Let me give you a different example. So when I started intermittent fasting, guess what? I completely forget I was going to do intermittent fasting until I go to the fridge, right? And very often, even though I would have planned to do intermittent fasting, the minute I open the fridge and then I grab an apple and I bite and I say, oh damn, I was supposed to actually do intermittent fasting. So I put a sign on my fridge. Now, sometimes that even did not work because I would have missed the sign, right? The sign is there and the sign is just a sign. But I put enough signs. One is I had to put it on my freezer and my fridge so that I'll be reminded. So same thing, put 3 signs around you. I will not complain, right? I will not complain. So the minute you're into complaining, boom, you see the sign that gives you this reminder, I will not complain. If you have one on your computer, I will not complain. So a reminder not to complain. Because remember, when you start complaining, you send toxic thoughts, you send negative thoughts to your system, and then again, it affects the whole energy of your body. The third one you could do is to customize the screensaver. So if you can customize the screensaver, why not? If you can't, go on to Fiverr, Fiverr, get them to go and customize one for you. It's not expensive to do that. The fourth tip to check on your inner critic is to get people in your life to check on your inner critic. And that is to give you signals. Supposing if you start to complain, or you start to bitch, or you start to criticize someone, get one of your family members, could be your wife again or your child, just to go like that. So it's almost like a warning, right? Imagine throughout the day you're getting this and this and this. You have enough reminders to be a lot more conscious of how you speak. Last but not least, what you could do is frame your favorite quotation. So I've got so many different quotations. I always repeat this one. What if whatever is happening to you is happening for you? That's really my favorite quotation. You could have a collection of different quotations, put it next to your desk. And of course, if you get bored, just change it. So what did I try to do today? Well, today I tried to get you to check on your inner critic, because how you speak to yourself determines how you feel, and how you feel determines how you act. So be careful how you speak to yourself. And remember, how you speak to yourself does happen at an unconscious level. So what you need to do is just check on your feelings every day and ask yourself, what am I feeling? So if you're feeling lousy, remember, it does not happen for no reason. It could be how you're speaking to yourself. And those inner conversations can be checked based on your feelings, right? So ask yourself every day, what's up? What's going on there? What have I been telling myself? And I think if you do some introspection, you will be able to find out what exactly is going there. Because remember, awareness is everything. Once you know, that's the first step for you to do something about it. This is Direct Your Destiny. Hope you enjoyed what I had to say.